Hey, welcome. Today we're working on a 2013 Dodge Dart with an intermittent hard power steering complaint with a bunch of lights on the dash. We actually just got this thing to act up and the steering is pretty stiff, and yep, there's a whole bunch of lights on the dash here. Looks like we've got ABS, brake, check engine, and a traction control light. So we're gonna get this thing back to the shop now that we got it to act up, get some codes out of it, and find out what we need to do to get this thing fixed up. Now with all those lights on the dash, we want to start with a full system scan to get the codes out of all the modules in the car. Okay, reading through the codes here, we have an interesting set of codes. It looks implausible data received from the ABS module, a left rear wheel speed sensor code, another invalid data received from the power steering control module, a couple BCM codes. They don't look to be related, something with low beam headlights. Another implausible, and this is the electronic power steering module, another implausible data received from ABS module. USB communication doesn't look like that might not be an issue. And another one in the OBD2 generic codes, invalid data received from ABS control module. Now, these are some pretty unique codes. We're going to have to look these up. Let's see what these codes mean and what causes them to set. Okay, so starting with the codes in the power steering control module, we have a U0415, implausible data received from the ABS module. The set conditions, if we come down here and read this, it says the electronic power steering control module has an incorrect CAN message from the ABS module. And the default action is the reduced power steering. That's the symptom that we have. So this kind of makes sense. But when we get to possible causes, it's showing the possible causes are DTCs in either the power steering module or the analog brake module, which is kind of confusing because it looks like we had a CAN bus issue, but now it's showing that it could just be a module issue. So I'm going to scroll down here farther, and if we get to the testing, it says check for ABS DTCs, and if there is some, to fix those first. So it looks like the ABS module or the ABS problem could be causing the power steering module. So if we go to the analog brake DTCs, we have a U0420, and let's look what that is and see if that's kind of related to the same issue that we're having with the rest of it. So looking at the U0420 code, it's pretty much the same code, just pointed in the other direction. It is incorrect data received from the electronic power steering to the ABS. So what these codes are kind of showing is the ABS module is mad that the power steering module is setting a code, and the power steering module is not happy that the ABS module is setting a code. So that kind of leads us to, well, what's causing the incorrect data in the first place? Now, the first one we looked at, the U0415, said check the ABS module for codes, and there is another code in there. It's a left rear wheel speed sensor code, a C0037. Now, it looks like, since this is the only other code in the system, or in the two modules that are not talking to each other correctly, is that must be the issue, or that's what's causing all of this headache for us in this car. So the next step we have to do is let's look at that left rear wheel speed sensor. If we have an issue there, I have a pretty good feeling that it's going to fix not only the wheel speed sensor code, but it's going to take care of those invalid data received codes as well. So let's get this car up and check this wheel speed sensor. This being an ABS wheel speed sensor concern, I could either have a bad wheel speed sensor, a bad tone ring, or a bad wiring harness or the wiring itself. And since we know this is intermittent, as you can see here, when I spin this tire, I actually am getting a wheel speed signal that I got to try to track that intermittent problem down. Now, how I want to do that is I want to try to get this at a constant speed, and I want to start wiggling the wire, and I want to start at a lot of the spots where the harness actually bends. And what I'm looking for is the sensor to drop out. And I'm just going to work my way up and get all the way up as high as I can in all the spots and see if I can get this thing to drop out here. Oh, it looks, yeah, you can see right here that we actually got that thing to drop out. And what you also notice is once it drops out, it's not coming back. Now, this is really common, and it's what's supposed to happen in a lot of these active wheel speed sensors. Once the computer sees that there's a circuit issue, it will shut down the power to the sensor until you cycle the key. So let's get this thing opened up and see if we can narrow down where our circuit issue is on this wheel speed sensor. Okay, I'm going to start by checking the connection here. And that looks okay. I don't see any corrosion. The pins look visually okay. And then this looks like the most vulnerable part of the connector here. You can see where it kind of loops down. I'm going to pull this apart. I'm assuming this is probably where it failed. Get this tape out of the way here. Of course, there's going to be a lot of tape holding this thing together. Go pick here. So if you score this tape. And it looks okay here so far, but oh, there we go. If we look closely here, you can see that there's actually, it looks like there's almost a pierce in the wire. And one of the best ways to check these, if the strands are broke, just pull on it. And oh, if it comes apart like that, that is junk. So looks like a relative easy repair. We got plenty on both sides. We'll have to get these wires fixed up and get this thing back on the road. So we started this thing off with a dash that looked like a Christmas tree, a no power steering concern, and we ended up in the left rear checking a wheel speed sensor. Cars today, you never know what you're going to run into. We had data communication stuff, but it all turns out to be a simple wire. That's why you read that description of operation and you make sure that you know what you're doing before you just start digging into something. We're going to get this thing fixed up back on the road. I hope you like what you've seen here today. If you did, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching.